welcome back to a brand new episode of the Kell Network. I got my boy Kresstoph again, my boy.
How we doing, bro? We here, bro.
We suited, you feel me? We suited and booted, you feel me? We looking proper and dapper in the building. Yo, for this episode, Kress, I want to talk about something that is in the back of everybody's mind, but they don't quite want to address.
And what's that, Kelly?
I want to talk about why losers are losers. Why losers stay stuck.
Why losers stay stuck. I think that's a very good topic.
I think it's a beautiful topic. Number one, every single loser that I've ever encountered has always had a victim mentality. They've always had a mentality of, oh, the world is, coming after me. Bad things are happening to me. Every time, you're in a bad position, it's not your fault. You don't take accountability. No. It's the world's fault. It's other people's fault.
And why do we think that is, Kelly? If I had to pry a bit more, why is it that it's so easy for us to be like, nah, we have nothing to do with it? What do you think? Because you know what? we must pause on that point for a second, because it's easy for us to blame someone else, do this, do that. But why? Why do if we know there's a 1% in the world, why do people do that? What do you think?
I think a lot of people, they live in their own mind too much. Mental health matters. Mental health is great. But at the same time, don't live in your head. Live in the world. Don't live in your mind. A lot of people, they got to ask other people for permission. Before they make a certain move, they have to ask people for permission. Before they start that podcast. Hey, pastor, man, I've been compelled. I felt the need to start this podcast. I felt the need to do this. I felt the need to. Why do you have to ask other people for permission? It's your life. You came into this world alone. You're going to leave this world alone. You came out your mama coochie. You're going to leave this world in a box. You're going to be by yourself. Coffins don't have bunk beds.
That was good. And no, honestly, bro, when you really think about it, right, it's like, so why losers stay losers? What do winners do? Let's break this down like a professional, right? A loser is someone that loses. A winner is someone that wins, which means they must do different things to get to that point. And when you said earlier about people making excuses and blaming other people, other things, it's easy to do that, but then you have no control. You have no control if you blame everyone else for every single thing that you do. So
essentially, it's like a car not driving itself.
Yeah, the car's not driving itself. Well, it's the car's fault.
You're letting other people take the wheel and bring you places that you don't even want to go to.
Yeah.
And by the way, shout out to our third angle. You feel me? Like I said during the last episode with Kresstoph, I said we're working on a third camera. So now I got multiple cameras to. Oh, I got to move my Fiji out the way. My fault, guys. Man, I got to move that Fiji out the way. You feel me? Life been great. You hear me? But anyways, wow. Man, I'm really enjoying that third angle, man. I like it. You feel me? I got my angle. Kress got his angle. We got the main angle right there.
That's what winners do.
Going back to why losers are losers. Losers are losers because they are around indecisive people.
Right.
If you're the smartest person in your friend group, you need to find a new friend group, bruh.
Yes. My mom, everyone, a lot of Jamaicans say this, birds of a feather flock together, right? You are who you surround yourself with.
100%.
And it's so true, because if I'm around people that's going to constantly make excuses and not do what's best for them, what's that going to make me, right? You ever seen that picture on perhaps somewhere on social media? It's the strawberry, right? So that one strawberry, it's deterred, it's getting gray, it's poisoned, it's infected, right?
Exactly.
So when it's infected and you put it around the healthy red, green strawberries, what's going to happen? The infectious, poisonous behavior is just going to keep going on to that. But if you're around healthy people, healthy strawberries, what do you think is going to happen? If I'm around, like I said in the Lost podcast, if I say I'm never going to make money every day, what do you think is going to happen?
You're never going to make money.
Never going to make money.
You're never going to. And everything starts off in the mind. If your mental health is bad, chances are you won't be able to manage $1. Because guess what? We hear this all the time.
Right.
Listen, if you gave a homeless man $1 million, there's a 90% chance that he'd be homeless again within a year.
And what does that mean exactly?
It's the principle. Discipline, staying away from vice, staying away from drugs, staying away from excessive alcohol. Listen, I have nothing against anybody drinking. I don't care. Me personally, I've never been drunk a day in my life. I've never done drugs a day in my life. But, there are people who they feed into that. Every time they get $1, they have to go into the liquor store. Every time they get $1, they got to spark up. They got to go to the casino. They got to gamble. They got to give an institution their money with the hopes of winning some money. There's no such thing as free money. Value exchange.
And that's precisely where we should take that. That's where we're taking our lives right now. Exchanging value, providing value.
100%.
Yeah.
Exchanging value and providing value. And if you're around people who have no value, you need to get away from those people. If you're giving something, right? You're giving fruit. You're giving a basket of fruit, but then they're giving you bones and they're giving you dirt. They're giving you garbage.
Yeah.
You need to leave immediately.
Yeah.
If you can't extract anything, like I said during the last episode, if you can't extract anything from the friend group or the friend itself, you need to get out of there.
Because bottom line, let's break it down. God forbid, I hope it never happens. But in the event another pandemic happens, right?
I'm straight. I'm good.
Yes. And why is that? That's a different question. But what if you exhausted all your resources and you have to call your friend group, your circle, your people, and they're not competent in what they do? They can't provide you assets as you provide them assets. What's going to happen? You're going to get left behind. I say this all the time, we need to have a contingency plan. It's not just about the now, it's about the later, the future, not just the present.
Check this. Losers get left if they don't get right.
Yeah, nah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm knocking the mic out the way. I'm excited. You heard me?
But that product is good, though.
Losers get left if they don't get right.
Yes. And why is that? Because we talked about a lot of things last time. People, places, positions, right? How you put yourself in the right environment, how you do different things in terms of building discipline, like you mentioned, having those assets, those resources, but most importantly, the people you surround yourself with, excuse me. And the reason why I think that is, Kelly, is because it's a lack of self-belief. You mentioned a lot of things about mind control, getting the $1 million. It's self-belief. If you do not believe in yourself,
you already lost.
Yeah.
Self-destruction. If you don't believe in yourself, self-destruction. And, Kresstoph said a great thing. People providing value. Recently, Kresstoph told me, Kresstoph was like, yo, I got a person for you to, interview on a podcast. I know this girl who does hair. She has all these businesses. She does nails. She does hair. She does this. She does that.
Lashes
and she's
too,
successful. And she's successful with it. Why don't you, tap in with her? You and her could, grow something, maybe get some content done. Right. And he, put me in position with that. If you got a homie and he not trying to put you in position, you need to run.
Yeah.
A lot of people, listen, there are people who are parasites.
Yep. Yeah.
Parasites
100%.
feeding off your energy. Just because they call you on the phone every day, that don't mean that they're your homie. They're taking energy from you.
Yeah.
Energy demons.
Yes. And where you put your energy is extremely important, because when we talk about why losers stay losers, why do winners win? They create their environment. They're on the right frequency, right? The right vibration. And most important, like you said, they take care of their energy. We're here together. We're doing this. We could be doing something else that's perhaps least productive, but we're creating energy into something positive. And why is that, Kelly? Because in our mind, we created, I said it last time, we're going to be successful, influential, and make money today, right? But why? Because we believe in ourselves. We know that we could do it. And it's like, sometimes I sit back and I could be driving and I'll just see something that's so unprofessional. It really just gets me mad, bro. It's just like, just common stuff. Like, you're in a restaurant, you're leaving, you left and the chair is tucked out. Put the chair in. Be perceptive of your environment.
The amount of people who don't have decorum is shocking. The amount of guys who don't have decorum is insane. I think decorum is something that is fading away, especially in this generation.
Yeah.
You go out to eat with somebody and they're in front of you and they're chewing with their mouth open, they're spitting everywhere.
Yeah.
You go out to eat with somebody, like when me and Kresstoph, we go out to eat, we make sure we leave good tips. There's people you go out to eat, they not leaving nothing. They leaving 2 pennies on the table, man. Yeah. A lot of y'all don't know how to move. A lot of y'all got cold hearts. If you got a cold heart, how you expect God to bless you? If God sees I don't want to turn this into a church service, but check this. If God sees everything and he evaluates everything and he knows you very, very well, he knows you better than you know yourself. If you got a cold heart, you're a mean person. No one likes you. How in the world do you expect God to bless you?
Impossible. It's literally oil and water mixing. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't go together at all.
It doesn't make any sense. And you got to get serious. I feel like in the year 2025, if you are not a serious man, you are playing yourself.
Let's pause right there, Kelly. Okay, boom. Let's say I'm a person sitting at home. You know what, Kelly, Kress, I hear what you're saying. I do want to get serious. I do want to change my life. I do want to become a winner. How do they best go about that? What's the first step?
The first step is to be honest with yourself. Number one, life is about survival. We're human beings. We need to make sure that we have shelter. We need to make sure that we have food. We need to make sure that we have water. We need to make sure that we have community. We need to make sure that we have connection. Survival comes first. So if you're a guy and you want to get ahead, ask yourself, am I able to sustain life? Am I able to sustain life with my current job right now? If your bills are over $3,000 a month and you're making $2,999 something dollars every single month, and you're barely able to pay your bills, and you got to call people every month to ask for this money, that money, you need to switch careers. It's about survival. It's about survival. Listen, if you got to get a job at Wawa, and then you got to get a job at Target, and then you got to get a job at Walmart and work 3 different jobs, do it. Survival comes first. You can't get ahead unless you take care of yourself. Exactly. Yourself matters. Your well-being matters. Your nutrition, how you're eating, how you're sleeping. Survival comes first. After, you check off the box of survival, next is community, where you spend the most time at.
Yes.
If you're hanging out at corner stores and low vibrational places and spaces, how do you expect anything pure to come out of a dark place? How do you expect light to come into a dark place? You got to stay in the light. You got to be around like-minded people. And if you're young enough, here's a hack. If you're young enough, I don't recommend this if you are old in age, but if you're young enough, you're in your, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, depending on how you look and how you present yourself, you could even hang out on a college campus. That's a great place to build community because you don't know whose dad is who. You don't know who's in position. You don't know who's about to go there. Listen, I'm a senior in college, and if you approach me the right way, I might open up to you about my podcast. I might open up to you about different business ventures that I got going on, and we might could build. And even though you working at Wawa, you working at Walmart, you working, wherever you working, listen, God got you there for a season. It's all right. Because at any point in time, he could elevate you and go up. You feel me?
And we have to be humble, right? You almost have to get low enough to the point where you recognize who you are. You understand your insufficiencies, because it's like this. You could see me one day. I could be working at McLaren. I could be doing this. Shout out to Chad C. I could be doing this. But it's like, bro, I will do whatever. If I have to detail a car, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
It don't matter. It don't matter. And I think a part of it is, too, we want to look, I suppose, I know the word is cool, or we want to make it this. We mentioned the Amazon and stuff like that. It's like, but no, a lot of
people are obsessed with living for other people. We're in a generation, I'm a Gen Zer, and I'll be honest, Gen Zers, they don't want to work. They want to be on TikTok all day. They want to influence. They want to be an influencer.
What purpose is that solving?
To be, all right, the word influencer.
Right.
You're influencing other people.
Correct.
If you have nothing going on but negativity, laziness, you're influencing people with that.
Degeneracy.
Foolishness.
Absolutely, yeah. And on top of that, Kell, it's like, bro, when you really sit and think about it, now don't get me wrong, if you are making X amount of money, great, good for you. Don't mistake me thinking I'm hating on money. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not even hating at all, but don't think I'm speaking negatively about how someone. But what I'm saying is, depending on what you do, you will feel a lack of purpose. Purpose is important. I can't speak for a woman, but I can certainly speak for a young man, a man growing up.
I would argue and say that purpose is more important than money.
I completely agree. I would rather change countless lives. I'd rather make countless impacts in people's lives than sitting here and just making money doing some degenerate stuff. Hell no. Why would I do that? And you have
morals, because check this, there's a lot of wealthy people who are poor on the inside.
I've asked a lot of people this question, bro. What would you do for $1 million or $1 billion? And you'd be surprised the answer you get. People are lost. People are absolutely lost. Like, where's your soul? Where's God inside of you?
On that note, recently, I was talking to a shorty, right? And she told me that she did OnlyFans. And I said, oh, word? I gotta go. Because I ain't about to be the only man that's gonna cuff you. You mean to tell me hella guys came through and not one of them cuffed you? I'm not about to be the only man. She did OnlyFans. I'm not gonna be the only fool. You heard me? I gotta go.
And it's interesting because, see, if you do some, use that or use whatever. If you do something and you understand and accept what comes with it, okay. But don't try to be a hypocrite now. Don't try to go left and expect to get right treatment. It doesn't make sense to me, right? And same goes for me too, right? I can't sit here and be doing stuff and expecting to be treated different. Like, if I'm carrying myself all degenerate, if I'm doing all these different types of stuff, how can I expect people to treat me like the way I'm dressed, like the way we are dressed? It's impossible, right?
It's impossible.
So we have to understand that money is not everything. It's not everything.
It's not.
You're the only person who goes to bed at night. It's and you said people internally, you could be wealthy on the outside, but internally it's not so good. Why is that? Because you mentioned that you've never worked on the internal part of yourself. And how can we get to that point? Self-realization is the first step.
Having principles also plays a role into that. A lot of people,
they don't
have principles. They don't have morals.
Yeah.
Kresstoph might be enjoying himself with a shorty. There's some guys who shiesty. They might be like, yo, I'm going to try to holler at Kresstoph shorty. not knowing that, yo, like, if I do that, now I'm breaking the relationship. Now I'm messing up business. If Kresstoph has a possible business move or a deal that he wants me to be a part of in the future, the fact that I did something shiesty to Kresstoph 2 years ago, it might mess it up. It's not might gonna mess it up. It will mess it up.
You gotta watch out for those things.
You gotta watch out for those people. And it's like a lot of guys, you know, they real quick to say somebody's their best friend. They real quick to throw the word out, my man's. They're real quick to say, oh, so and so is my man. So and so, that's my homie.
Together, though.
Y'all known each other for 4 days.
Yeah.
That's my man right there. That's my homie. That's my dog. That's my this. That's my that. You've known each other for 1 week. That is not your man's. You don't know him from a can of paint.
Yeah.
He could have been a weirdo last week. You don't know.
Yeah. That's so true. And yo, you're always bringing up the best points ever, bro. Shout out to the Kell Network, by the way.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to the Kell Network, all right. But no, on some
really
serious
enjoying this. I gotta look at myself more from this big monitor, man. Yeah.
Nah, bro, it's serious because it's like,
it's serious, man.
When you think about it, bro, it's so true because when you talk about us doing what we're doing in terms of not us, but people doing what we're doing in terms of, hey, I want to go this route, I want to do this, I want to put my time into this. Well, what you're doing matters a lot more, right? And you talk about people being able to do, I'll keep the words calm. You talk about people being able to do things that are not pleasing to their soul, right? People that are able to be unhappy but still making money. What is that doing for you? What purpose is that solving? Check this, Kelly.
The whole point of getting money is to get happy. A lot of people, they say stupid things like money doesn't buy happy. What?
That's BS.
Let you be sad. A trip to Bahamas to get you right real quick.
Have you ever held 100K?
Oh my goodness, have you?
$1 million? And Kelly, it's like, let's break this down and really think about this, right?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose to try?
What do you have to
What do you have to lose?
And here's the thing.
What do you have to lose?
A lot of people don't understand this. It's like the average person, they graduate university at 20, 21 years old. No, not 20. At 21, 22 years old. And it's like, instead of automatically going into the corporate world, instead of automatically going the corporate route, why don't you do what you've always wanted to do? You're 21 years old. Give it a good 24 months. And if you fail, guess what? You'll be 23 years old. Is it the end of the world? Are you 83 years old? Are you 43 years old? Are you 93 years old? No. You're 23 years old. Most people, check this out. There's some people who've made bad life choices and they finally get it together and they enroll, they enlist in university at age 27, 28, 29. I actually was at a networking event last night. A gentleman who is 53 years old opened up about how he went back to college at the age of 45. He went back at the age of 45, graduated at the age of 49. So if he could do that at his late age,
with his responsibilities, I'm sure as a parent or whatever.
He got kids, he got a wife, he got a family to keep up with. And you, at the age of 21, you can't sacrifice a year or 2 or 3 to work on your dream. So what it doesn't work now. You're 23, 24 years old. You're still incredibly young. Kelly. Visibly, you still look the same. You're still intact. You still have mobility. You could still dive deep into corporate America. You could still get an entry-level job and climb up the corporate ladder and still, be a millionaire by 35 if you invest your money correctly.
Yo, bro, when you speak with people that's lived life, regret is all. What's one thing you wish you did? It's always a regretful comment.
Listen, that's a spirit I don't want on my conscience. I don't want the spirit of regret on my conscience.
Exactly. I've been having some recent conversations, processing and dealing with a couple different things. And it's like, I've heard a couple different times, if I had to be young again, I would do that. I would take that risk. I would try to do something. I would do that. I would do this. What would I take and do that? You're right. We're 22, 23, 24, 25. We have no kids, barely any bills, maybe a car payment, whatever, depending on what you're doing. Maybe you bought an apartment, whatever the case may be. But it's like, you don't want to take a risk? You don't want to take a risk?
Speaking of risk, a lot of people don't know this outside of cinematography and, my podcast. 4 out of the 7 days of the week, I do work a high ticket sales job in Exton, Pennsylvania.
Very high ticket sales.
And, the head manager, we were having a conversation in the back office and she said that a certain individual, let me use a pseudonym. We're going to call her Emma. We're going to use a pseudonym for this because I don't want to put out her real name.
For sure.
But Emma had quit to pursue her music career. Now, from my understanding, Emma's not the greatest musician. She's not like a Billie Eilish or like a Ariana Grande. But what I could respect is the fact that she looked around and said, you know what, this is not my place.
Right.
Emma's pretty young. Emma's in our age group,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and she said to herself, let me, you know, take a deduction financially.
Right. In the short term.
Let me take a short-term deduction financially to chase a dream that may not always be a dream when I get older. Old age is much longer than youth.
I'd rather be.
Old age is much longer than youth.
Yeah.
Youth only lasts for 30 years.
Yeah.
Really?
And what? 10 of those you're really the most conscious with the best experience and you figured a couple things out.
Like people say so many stupid things like, well, just work, and then, you know, at 50 you just do your passion. Sir, at 50 years old, this Kell Network right here, I will not be the same man at 50 that I am right now.
And quite frankly,
I won't.
Kelly,
Listen, I'm fresh, I'm fly, hairline intact, beard looking good. I have mobility.
Type.
Listen, bro, I don't want to hop into my McLaren when I'm in a wheelchair. Kresstoph got to help me. One of the
Can't get in that 720.
No, bro.
Yeah.
No, I want to hop in the McLaren right now.
Yeah, 100%. And even on top of that too, it's like at least she can go to bed at night in peace knowing that, hey, at least I tried. And on top of that, Kelly, it's like, boom, check this out. Really check this out. Right? So she took that risk. Very good of her, commend her for that. At the end of the day, though, at least now she knows I tried it in this current time. Because guess what? The way the world is moving, technology changes, everything is changing. This business idea, this business plan may not be the same thing 5 years from now. Matter of fact, I think technology changes every 6 months to a year.
Exactly. ChatGPT is absolutely insane. ChatGPT can do almost anything now.
How do I create a business based on my personality and likes and interests?
Honestly, I feel like the only things that
easy.
ChatGPT really can't do, you know what, let me not even put a limit on it, because by the time this episode comes out, there might be an update, there might be something that, you know,
Probably will be.
takes away what I just said.
Yeah.
So technologies move. While we're talking about ChatGPT, you mean to tell me we live in a generation where you have a device, right here, you have an iPhone, you have an iPhone. Let me let this camera see it.
Yep.
Bro, don't forget, show love to this angle too. You
Yeah,
gotta show love
yeah,
to that
I know
angle,
that.
you know what I mean? But we have this device right here, the iPhone. This iPhone has ChatGPT, has Google, it has a camera. This has an entire computer in it.
Yes.
And you mean to tell me you have this magical device in your pocket? Back in the day, people had to write letters and, you know, mail stuff and do all types of crazy stuff. You have this magical device in your pocket right here called the smartphone, the iPhone.
Yeah.
And you can't figure out a way to monetize. You can't figure out a way to create content. You can't figure out a way to monetize something that you know best, something that you can do. Let's say you make great cookies. Man, prop the phone up. Stop being cheap, man.
Yeah.
It takes money to make money. A lot of y'all got
fact.
this seedless mentality. You show up to the garden with no seeds in your pocket and you're mad
Expect
that
it
you
to
don't
grow.
have you're mad that you don't got a tree. You didn't plant anything. You didn't water anything,
Didn't
but
dig
you're
the
mad
hole.
because you don't have a tree.
Yeah. Bro, it's what a good point.
You're in the garden looking at everybody else's fruit, looking at everybody else's trees. You didn't plant anything. You didn't water anything, and you're mad because you don't have anything. It costs money to make money.
Do you know why that is, Kelly?
Why?
Because our generation is being conditioned into this instant gratification world. It's because TikTok is deteriorating your brains. You're consuming way too much. And everyone, people may feel some type of way about this, but I've spoken with enough people, and throughout my whole college career, I've done extensive research on TikTok, on social media, the effects it has on young people, young adults, young men, young women, teenagers alike. It's destroying your mind. So your mind, like you mentioned last time, the click to get DoorDash,
It's making you
Amazon Prime,
unmotivated.
you're
It's
unmotivated.
making you unmotivated. It's turning you into less of a human. It's making you not want to
NPC.
connect. It's making you not want to connect, especially, you know, me and Kresstoph, you know, we went to high school in the pandemic. So as soon as they shut down, you know, high school, we were told to go home.
Yeah.
Some of us played the video game.
Yep.
Some of us scrolled on Instagram. Others were planning for things like this.
Yes.
I was planning Kell Network in high school. I envisioned this stuff. I said, yo, by my senior year of college, because you got to be realistic. Freshman year of college, you really don't have, you know, the
You gotta
know-how.
figure everything out, yeah.
Yeah, like when you set out on a big dream, it oftentimes comes with fine print. No one talks about the fine print.
Yeah.
No one talks about how, you know, if you buy a movie camera, now you need a special hard drive. And to go with that, you need a maxed out MacBook to be able to edit all this stuff in 4K and this, that, and the third. No one talks about that. People just say, yo, start a podcast, start this, start doing YouTube, start
Yeah.
that. So, you know, you really have to take into inventory the fine print. But I say that to say, there are people who wasted the pandemic. The pandemic was the greatest blessing from God that we've ever gotten.
I have to ask you to elaborate on that one, bro. I have to.
I think the pandemic was the greatest blessing from God. God said, you know what? there's a lot going on in the world right now. Whenever God wants to elevate and transform something, he hits reset. With Noah's Ark, you know, he sent the flood, reset. I think the pandemic was a reset.
For sure
it was a physical,
reset,
spiritual, emotional, mental reset from God. God said, you know what? I don't like the direction this world is going in. Let me reset. Let me give people 3 months to sit down and recalibrate, replan their life. You're in a toxic relationship. Let me expose to you the toxicness that's going on so that you can see it in real time. So you can live with this.
I see the perspective you're making. I see what you're saying.
You're living with a toxic partner. Now you guys are forced to be with each other.
You see certain things.
Exactly. You're able to see things. You know what? God might have did somebody a favor. Yo, before you put that wedding ring on her finger, now you see her real character. Now you see who she really is.
So at first, I slightly disagreed with Kelly because I had my different thoughts about the pandemic.
The pandemic.
It's all about perspectives and how you perceive the situation to make it benefit your life. What you just explained, Kelly, that makes a lot of sense. And we have to look at things with that perspective, right? We have to, because without that perspective, it's just, well, you know, this happened and I'm just going to listen and wear my 3 masks. You know what I mean? Or it's a time to personal develop. It's a time to elevate and get to yourself. But remember when, after that happened, when you first got back on college campus, how awkward was it when you tried to conversate with someone?
I'll be honest with you. When I first got back to college campus, I'm a very spiritual person, and I felt that the frequency was much, much different. Number one, the first school year, it wasn't really even a school year for me because it was online. School really got back in session in 2022.
Yeah, true.
So 2022, 2023 coming to university, the first thing I noticed is everyone was walking around like this.
Literally. They won't even see if they're in danger. Unprofessional.
Everyone's walking around on their phone. And in my mind, I said, okay, you know what, maybe it's just the fact that people have just been inside. You know, maybe they're just, you know, still caught up in that. Hopefully, like, you know, it'll come out of them. Yeah. We're in 2025 and I'm still walking around seeing people like this, just scrolling.
People are not having
conversation. And it's like, you know, the importance of community and conversation is crucial when it comes to building wealth, when it comes to success. Like Kevin Samuels said, money making is a group activity. Success is shared. How do you expect to earn $1 by yourself?
Exactly.
It takes 2 pilots to fly a plane.
Because someone has to take the money in the first place.
Exactly.
Or give it to you in the first place. Man.
Exactly.
Wow, Kelly.
You're kicking that game at a high level, you feel me?
Yeah, so before we transition to a different point, Kelly, let me ask you something really quick. In one word, maybe a sentence, right? It's crazy.
I'm talking that talk.
How do you surround yourself with a winner? It could be one word. It could be a sentence. Because we're explaining a lot of things. I'll give some backstory. We talked a lot about what not to be, what not to do, how to get certain places. But what if you need to recalibrate your mind and your brain to get to that next level, that next echelon of life?
Listen,
you know what
number
I mean?
one, take an inventory. Take an inventory of yourself. If you're at a bad spot in your life right now, I want you to go to a dollar store. I want you to buy a pen and I want you to buy a notebook. And I want you to really sit with yourself for about a good 3 hours. Go deep into your mind and do some heavy journaling. Write down every single problem on your mind from A to Z. Write down every single problem. Write down everything that's bothering you. Write down the people in your life that rub you the wrong way. Write everything down. Take, you know, some sort of evaluation of what's going on right now. A diagnosis. When your car's not running properly, right? Before the mechanic brings out the hammer and starts messing with things, what does he do?
Scans
diagnosis.
It. Yep. He takes his time and properly checks.
When you go to the doctor, Kresstoph, you go to the doctor, right? You have a headache. The doctor doesn't just say, "Oh, Kresstoph, cut your head open." No. Let's do a diagnosis. Let's do an evaluation. So you need to diagnose your life first. Diagnose your life. See what's working and see what's not working. See what's working and see what's not working. See who's working for you. See who's working against you.
The average young adult and or teenager spends on average 2 to 3 hours glued into their phone a day. Glued, right? And you know why I like that you brought up self-inventory, writing all that stuff down? Because if we're spending all the time with our phones, when do we really have time for ourselves? Honestly, we watch those movies about cyborg. It's an extension of you. That's your digital human being. That's your digital profile.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that to make money, push content. Of course, yes, the Kell Network is here and it's thriving. However, if you're not doing that at the moment, take a little break. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, people won't admit it, and I know they feel this the same way. Social media does not make you happy.
It doesn't.
It does not make you happy at all. So then, how do you change that? How do you put yourself in a different type of game?
It doesn't.
Like,
and I had to, check myself about social media.
We all do.
I had to check myself. I had to be honest. I had to be like, yo, like I get it. I'm working on Kell Network, but at the same time, like I'm spending way too much time on this app. So now I got a timer set.
Right.
After an hour a day, 1 hour a day, that's all I need.
Yeah.
After I pump out my reels, do my hashtag, do my this, that, and the third, that's all I need. 1 hour. I don't want to get, sucked into what's going on social media.
Yeah.
I don't. Mm-hmm. It can be motivating, but at the same time, it can really consume too much of your time. I know ladies who, really want to be in a relationship, but they've been so desensitized. They've been so watered down and washed down. And, they've been so watered down to the point where they can't even put themselves in a position.
Let me give you a story, Kelly. So
every night you got that rose next to your motherfucking nightstand.
Bro, so there was this time, right? My one boy, he had a girlfriend. He doesn't have it anymore. He's smart. He realized and he's like, no, we're not doing that, right?
Yeah.
Some millionaires stink. So I think it was Valentine's Day, right? And bro did a lot, right? He made her breakfast, did all this stuff because she came over. We were at college at the time, whatever. Took her out to eat and all that stuff. Mm. And then she was upset. Why was she upset? Well, look what this person did for their girlfriend on Instagram and da-da-da-da-da. She's comparing someone else's situation, not even knowing what could be going darkness behind closed doors, comparing something, desensitizing herself, not realizing, being in the moment that, hey, listen, this is who I am and this is who I'm with. Mm. Why? It's like the grass is not. Let's not confuse.
Listen, the grass is not
attraction
greener.
With sexual attraction.
Ooh, say that again.
Let's not confuse relationship attraction with sexual attraction.
That boy kicking that game. And, sometimes people think that the grass is greener on the other side. No. Sometimes the grass could be meaner on the other side. You don't know what's to come, yeah?
Are we rapping, bro?
I don't know.
I ain't gonna lie.
I might gotta bring Don Kellyo back, but
bring him back. Yeah, bro. But no, it's true. And it's like, trust me, we have way harsher conversations when it comes to guys off camera. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we lead, right? We have to lead by example.
And, on that note, check this out. If you ninjas trying to spit some game, make sure you got your affairs in order. Make sure you look good. Make sure you got a good haircut. Make sure you smell good. Make sure you got the hygiene, because it's not fair to the woman that you approaching with this garbage packaging. Check this out. If somebody approached you with a bad deal, would you take it?
Hell
Generally speaking, not.
No.
You are the deal. Life is sales. Everything is sales. Sell yourself. That's why I got the greatest cameras. I said I need the same camera that Shannon Sharp uses. I said I need the same camera that these top of the line guys use. Guess what? Life is about selling yourself. Life is about selling yourself. So if you're approaching a woman, you are presenting a sale. Everything is business in life. You are selling yourself to her. And if your breath is bad, if you smell bad, if you approach incorrectly, if you're too thirsty, you're too needy, it won't work. So make sure you have all your affairs in order. Make sure you got all your cards in order. Make sure you got everything going on for yourself so that she can be an addition to your life. A lot of guys, they looking for a chick to make up their life. They're looking for a chick to complete their life. No. You're looking for her to complete your life. What happens if she leaves?
No, that's why you don't put them on a pedestal. You have to God, purpose, family, which can include women, because all that stuff.
Yeah.
God, purpose. Because the reason why she was attracted to you in the first place is because of who you are, who you became.
Yeah.
So then you change that now? Now she's like, wait. That's not the person I met. Now she's resenting you. Now before you know it, you change yourself for her, not leading and being the masculine person you are, and then what happens?
Yeah.
She's gone. Can you blame her for that?
You can't. Everything is sales. Everything in life is sales. So, if you're approaching these ladies, if you're about to kick that game, make sure that you got all your affairs in order. Make sure that you got everything going on for yourself so that you don't just come off as a guy who needs a crutch. She wants to be your cheerleader. She want to cheer you on. She want to be over there watching Kell Network, watching Kress and Kell put on these suits and talk that game.
Yeah. And it's just like you project the confidence, competence, and of course you're respect for her. We're not telling you to go out there and wild out when you talk to these girls.
Yeah. Be smooth. Like, don't be cocky.
Millionaires don't do that.
Be smooth. Be cool with it. And guess what? If she don't want you, she could bounce like a basketball in real life.
And guess what? If you're a man of value, it won't even bother you. If you're a man of value,
that ain't nothing, man.
Bro.
Because guess what? When you're dealing with women at a high level, it's a revolving door. Some leave, some come. Some leave, some come.
And do you know why you're okay with that?
Why?
Because your purpose is first.
My purpose is first. I got Kell Network on my mind.
Your purpose is first.
If I set up a time to meet with a chick and she say, yo, Kelly, I can't meet at this time. Maybe I can meet 2 hours later. Instead of meeting at 4:30, can we meet at 6:30? Oh, I can't meet. I got to film an episode. My purpose comes first. I'm not going to move my purpose out the way to please you. No, it don't work like that. You heard me?
Nothing is worse than trying to... I could give so many stories, but some of them are recent, so I won't even name drop. But nothing will ever push a man away more than you trying to take him away from what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And if she don't support you, like, remember I was dealing with a chick, right? She didn't necessarily understand this right here. She didn't support this right here. And I had to leave. I respect myself. A lot of guys, you know, they meet a chick who's pretty and they're like, oh my gosh, she's my future wife. Yeah. She's my future. Goofy.
Have you checked the divorce rates recently?
You don't even know, my man.
Who initiates them and the reason?
Then again, you know, I was talking to this. I was talking to this other chick. You know, who was also 22. She's a senior in college. She told me, she was like, Kelly, you have a talent. You can speak very, very well. You can speak and you can command attention. You have a presence to you when you walk into a room. You should do something. You should become some sort of motivational speaker. And I took that and I said, really? I was doing Kell Network. I think we were probably on our first or second episode or something like that. And I never let her know that because I don't really like to lead with the whole influencer thing. You know, like my convertible. Most of the ladies that I deal with don't know that I have, you know, a sports car. They don't know I have a convertible. They don't know I do Kell Network. They don't know that I got my own apartment, big spacious apartment. They don't know this stuff. I might pull up on a date in a Toyota. I don't care. Just because I want you to see me for who I am, not for what I could get you. You heard me?
And you're not getting that if I don't, And on top of it, I feel you, bro, because even when I had my car, I just started posting my car in 2025, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a little bit earlier. Like, I didn't right away, oh my God, there's no need
Lead with the game, not with the cash.
Exactly.
Yeah. Life is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. Life is unexpected. The cash could go, but if the game is inside of you, it could stay in there forever.
Exactly, and that ties into exactly full circle why winners are winners, because you can have a career. You can transition from that career. You could be doing something else, or you could stay in that career, but who you are internally as a person, that'll always carry you. Like, rich people always say, if I was broke tomorrow, I can make it all back again. Why? Because
the game is inside of them.
It's inside of them. They didn't fake it.
Yeah. And you know, what a lot of people don't understand is most battles are won or lost before the battle even starts.
Yeah.
Preparation. Preparation is key.
If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Yeah.
If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. And preparation is so key because a lot of people, they just let life hit them like blue. Oh my gosh, how did I get here? Oh, you didn't prepare, bruh. Listen, I don't mean to get personal, but as of late, I've really been pondering moving to Miami. And, you know, I spoke, like I said earlier, I don't like asking people for permission. But in this case, I said, you know what, let me speak to somebody who's made a lot of money, who understands the world, because I'm still a very, very young man.
Yeah.
I give you guys a lot of wisdom. But at the same time, like, your boy was in high school a few years ago.
We still have a lot to learn. Yeah,
exactly. I'm still a very, very young man. So I contacted, you know, a professional from our university, and I sat down with him. I said, hey, I want to move to Miami. I currently do this high ticket sales job and I have my own business. And he gave me the breakdown. He gave me the game. He said, all right, there's a website you can go on where you can type in the location that you want to go to. It's a, you know, website for Westchester University students only, where you could type in the location that you're about to move to and see all the Westchester students who are in that location. And he told me, he said, this is what you got to do. Type in Miami, type in Brickell, Miami in the search bar and see what Westchester University students live there. Contact them. Contact all of them.
That's smart.
Get some sort of contact before you get down there.
Yes. Get the credibility.
Exactly. Listen, my first day in Miami, I might got to have lunch with a homie. I might got to, you know, link up with that person because I already prepared prior to the situation happening.
Exactly. You're not reactive. You're very proactive.
Exactly.
Which is super important. And Kelly, it's what I find interesting to believe, right? We know what fiat currency is. We understand that trillions of dollars of debt's going on. Money's being printed at the same time. We understand that we're in 2025 and attention is a new currency, guys. Attention is a new currency. It's honestly, it's hard to even be average now.
Yeah.
You get lost.
Attention is the new currency. Your pension is not the new currency. I want to speak on that for a second. I want to speak on, you know, the whole working a job thing. Working a job is beautiful if you're using the job as a stepping stool to access greater wealth. But what a lot of people don't understand is You know, me. This is how I feel.
Yeah.
This may be different than how Kresstoph feels. But me personally, I work, you know, this job right now. And I also run my business, and I give 100%. I give 110% at my job, and I give 120% at my business. Why? Why do I give my personal business an extra 10%? Because I know that although I'm paid very, very well at my job, I sell high ticket sales items. I get commission. I get, you know, to be in a nice office. I get to be in a nice atmosphere. I understand that at the end of my career, I get something called a pension. So let's say I make the establishment $20 million, or let's say I make them $100 million my entire career. I get a pension. I get a pinch into my hand. Pension. That's why they call it a pension. It's
Words
a pinch. It's a pinch into your hand. Pinch in. Pinch in. Listen, you made the company $100 million. This is the pile right here. Pinch into your hand. You get a pinch. You don't get a grab. You get a pinch. It's not a grab, and it's a pension. They don't love you.
Yeah, you got me speechless. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that wordplay is great. But I'll give a slightly different opinion. I don't disagree necessarily with what Kelly says. You know, even my directors, which I truly appreciate, shout out to them. But one of them said this very specifically. You have to think about using your career as a vehicle. Like you said, it could drive you to where you want to go. You can't use your career as, okay, well, I just had to get a career and now I'm here. No. It needs to be driving after some purpose, some goal, something, right? Something. Because you could still you could make millions in a career. You can. It's more on the rare side, but you can do it. But to come back and agree with Kelly's point, though, if you're putting in all that effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears into, let's say, someone else's goal, why not give a try yours? Why not give a try yours? And that's what it comes down to, right? And I don't need to explain it very largely into detail, but try and take a risk. It may not work out, but guess what? You can always get a job. But if you have a business idea about this specific, okay, so someone had a business idea about, I create the best copywriting ever. Well, sir, AI is coming for you now. So 5 years ago, that was great. 10 years ago, that was great. AI is coming. Do they even need you anymore? No, copywriting, it still works, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying eventually. So my point is, time is always going to change along with the process and or business ideas. So then we have to jump on things and act fast. Speed is key. Speed is key.
Speed is key. I like
Speed
that.
is key.
Speed is key. And, you know, we move incredibly fast, you know. I want to say 30 days ago, I said, not even 30 days ago, I said I'm going to get, you know, a third angle. I already got the third angle. I got the lens on there and everything.
Yeah.
Speed, time. Listen, by the time you think about the idea and you know, try to put one foot in front of the other, I'm already executing.
Yeah. And to cap it off, Kelly, us doing all these different type of business ventures, Kell Network, WC Media, all these different types of things, we will build so much experience.
Digital.
Edgeflow Digital.
Yeah.
We will build
Be on the lookout
all these.
for that, by the way.
Facts. Give it a follow. We will build all these different experiences and skills. Why? Because we did that. We took that risk. We were nervous, but we still went to that business person. We still shook their hand. We still dressed nice. We may have messed up the words, but we still bounced back and showed our value and competence, right? But we learned from that, right? You can't learn if you don't put yourself in positions to fail. I'm not saying you should fail, but if you don't put yourself close to the edge, what's going to happen? You can't just always play the safe route. Well, you can, but then it goes back to the whole purpose thing.
Yeah.
How are you going to feel inside?
100%. And, you know, take a look at the guys who do play it safe. Nothing against them, but it's like they go to college.
Yeah.
You know, they end up getting a job. They end up, you know, settling down with a lady. They end up buying a house. They end up getting a small man cave. Could you imagine you spent 4 years of college, you're working hard, and your reward is being 30 years old, 31, 32, you got a man cave? Could you imagine? Like, you're inviting me to your man cave, to a tiny basement? Like, what? But you know, nothing against certain people, but that's what you wanted out of life.
And I think that's what people get confused, Kelly, because just how that person can sit there and say they want that, we can say we want the opposite. If someone can say, hey, listen, I just want to be chill and live a life, and then I can say I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a trillionaire, right? I can say that. Why? Because they want to live their life, I want to live mine, and I believe 100% that it's going to be happening. Why? It all starts here. If it doesn't happen, if I want to be a billionaire and it doesn't happen, guess what? At least I'm still a millionaire.
Exactly. You got to shoot high. You got to aim high. You got to aim high.
Why would I sit there and limit myself?
If you focus on $1 billion, you don't hit $1 billion, at least you're a millionaire. And guess what? If you make the right moves with $1 million, you'll become a billionaire.
Exactly.
Easy.
Exactly. It's funny that we sit there and look at these athletes, rappers, celebrities, or successful business people and think to ourselves,
The likelihood of you becoming the next Grant Cardone is exponentially higher than the likelihood of you becoming the next LeBron James.
And what is
now
that?
It's time to become something like that.
And what does that go back full circle to? The only way you can change that scenario is if you control this.
Control this right
and
here.
put that to work.
And, be honest with yourself. Like, if you're a senior in high school and you're 5'11", I don't want to crush your dreams, but if you're 5'11", are you going to make it to the NBA? Do you have any D1 schools looking at you? Like, be real with yourself. At some point in time, you got to put the ball down and pick up a laptop. At some point in time, put the ball down, pick up a mic. Do something. Pick up a camera. Do something. Be honest and be real with yourself. Take off the basketball jersey, put on a suit.
Game. And Kelly, it's at the end of the day, bro, when you really sit here and think about it, the reason why we can do this is because we're openly to the point where we're like, hey, listen, we're going to try this and we're not afraid to make mistakes. We're not afraid. You know why? Because we're going to learn. If someone's not afraid to, if you're about to fight someone and you can tell they're not afraid to lose, that's a dangerous person. That's a dangerous person. If you're afraid to lose, you may be blocking something else. Like, you know what I mean? But even to add on and stack upon that point, if you're not afraid to lose, if we're trying to, I always have this saying, Kelly. Sometimes, like, I'll be talking to my coworkers and they'll say, like, yo, you be doing, like, my one friend, she's like, you just do random stuff. And I'm like, yeah, perhaps. Maybe I say this one thing or do whatever. But guess what, though? In 5 years from now, who's going to remember that one comment? Who's going to remember that one dumb thing I did? No, they have all this stuff going on. But you know what I'm going to remember? The lessons, the experience, and I'm going to mold and learn from that and become better. Because in 5 years, then you'll see, not like 2 years, you probably see the McLaren. But, like, the point is.
And I believe it.
Oh, it's going to happen.
I believe it. We were recently at the McLaren car show, the annual car show, and it was absolutely gorgeous. A lot of high net worth individuals. A lot of people, they might get to the McLaren car show and feel some type of way and be angry and be upset. But it's like me and Kresstoph, we like seeing this stuff.
Yeah.
I get energy from seeing wealthy men, thrive and win and get money.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're my homie, right, and you're a millionaire, you just bought a Bugatti, I'm going to clap for you. I'm going to applaud for you. I'm not going to sit here. Yeah, that's not.
Bad color.
Oh.
The next question is going to be.
Man, I hate them type of guys, man.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And hold on, let's if we can, let's give a shout out to Chad and Christian, right? Because I ain't gonna lie, at the same time, and the McLaren team, yeah. Because I mean, and if anyone's watching, if you need a McLaren, let us know. We got you, feel me? But people do feel out of place with that. I don't fit in that. I've heard that. I don't fit in that area. How do you know that? Why do you think they're human beings? Now, obviously, if you carry yourself the wrong way and you're just a bad person, then you probably don't fit in a lot of environments, right? But to the point, it's like, hey, listen, go, do, be, act.
A lot of people would feel uncomfortable, showing up to McLaren and showing up around these high net worth individuals and putting themselves in these types of positions because they realize they don't have that type of money. They don't have Bugatti money. We saw a Bugatti that was worth $6 million. I don't even know if I want a Bugatti just because, like, I saw it in person and I was like, this is a beautiful car, but, like, I'm a Rolls Royce guy.
Yeah, and that's
I like
fine.
luxury.
Yeah.
I like the Rolls Royce. I like the Phantom. I like the color. I'm a Rolls Royce guy. I'm a Bentley guy. I'm a Lamborghini guy. But Bugatti, if I get a Bugatti one day, I don't know if I want one. I bet if I focused 100%, 110% on it, I could get it.
Yeah.
But if I do get a Bugatti one day, I'm going to be very selective about where I put my Bugatti at because,
oh my God,
someone who's jealous, someone who's envious, someone who has hatred and demons in their heart, they might could spit on your Bugatti.
Yeah.
They might could take their skateboard and bang it on your Bugatti. You know what I'm saying? Like, that comes with owning a Bugatti. Nobody talks about that.
Nah, yeah.
A crazy chick might key your Bugatti. And we're talking about a $6 million car, like after taxes, fees, and everything.
If you're still out here keying cars, you're insane. People don't connect the dots. You talk about, okay, you should manifest, you should do this, you should do that. Why do you think you're doing that? To get what you desire, but you also have to put the action in there. I can't say I want a 10 out of 10. I can't say that I want her to support me in all my goals and dreams and all this stuff if I'm not being my best self. Because when you are your best self, you demand and you demand respect. You demand the things that you need. Yeah. But you can't demand stuff without having a position of credibility, right? You can't be. I can't sit here and never sat in a McLaren and talk about a McLaren. Okay. I can say I want it. Well, correction. I think you get what I mean by that. But like, yeah, you have to be that. You have to be that.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
And real recognize real. Generally speaking, if she's a 10 and you're a 10, you guys make eye contact.
Exactly.
Even if she got a man, she's going to approach you or you're going to approach her. Something's going to pop off and it's going to go somewhere. There's no such thing as rejection. Women aren't stupid. Let's say a woman is with a man, right? She might be in a serious relationship and another very, very handsome man who has his life together approaches. She's not going to let that opportunity walk out the door. She's going to say, hey, I have a boyfriend, but we can be friends. I love hearing that. Oh, I love it. Right. But listen, before I walk away, right as I'm about to,
I've seen the. Yeah.
Listen, she's telling me, hey, the living room is occupied, but I'm going to leave the door open a crack, a smidge, just in case I got to boot this nigga out. You feel me?
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm staying single. And I'm just focusing on myself.
It's bad out here, but like, spinning back to the point of putting yourself in position, being the best version of yourself so that God can bless you. Yeah. I think that's very, very important. And I think, what contributes to someone being a loser is lack of faith, lack of belief. Two things. I live by these two things: faith and focus. Faith and focus. I live by faith and I live by focus. Faith in myself that I'm going to be able to become successful and accomplish everything I want to accomplish. And focus. Focus is incredibly important. Mm-hmm. Do you honestly think all this would have came about if I was over here FaceTiming girls every single night, pillow talking about
spending
a whole bunch of nothing,
money.
Spending money on these chicks? I had a chick tell me last week, Kelly, I need you to take me out on a $300 date. I said, what? Oh, word? I got to go.
I would actually FaceTime her and laugh in her face.
She said, Kelly, I want you to spend $300 on me on a date. I could, but would I? No, I won't.
But the arrogance in that, though, like, who are you? What value does that bring? Not even your girlfriend. We're not even. If you're my girl, then you're
You're not my girl. So who do you think you are to approach me in this domineering manner, saying, "Hey, take me out to this $300 steakhouse." $300.
Take out my phone and block your number.
What? Take you out? I'm gonna take out my phone and block you. That was a good one. I like that.
I'm gonna take out my phone and block you.
I like that. I'm gonna take out my phone and block you. That's
you have to be rude because you're gonna get tested.
You're 100% gonna get tested.
And people will walk over you.
Yeah.
They will like.
And a piece of game for you guys. Yeah. The first date should be something light. It should be something very light. Yeah. I suggest coffee shops. Listen, if you can't afford a $5 coffee for both of y'all, $10, $5, then you shouldn't be going on a date. Yeah. You shouldn't be going on a date. Something light, something like a coffee shop. Second date should be something medium, something like brunch. A lot of good restaurants around here. I had a date with a shorty. We went to the First Watch. The bill was $25 for the both of us. That's fair. Why? Because we're not familiar with each other. I don't know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's like if I just met Kresstoph today and I say, yo, come to my apartment. We don't know each other. Yeah. There's no sort of familiarity that's been built. So second date, it should be something cool, maybe some brunch at a light spot. Third date, now you're really considering this person. I might take you to, a calm spot.
Right.
Fourth, fifth, sixth date, so on and so forth. Yes. The person has proven themselves. Now you deserve, the finer things. Now you deserve to eat like me.
Yeah, because you can't let the money be the focus.
100%.
You can't. I can't believe she. I cannot. We have to talk about it. I cannot believe that.
Bro. I'll show
That's
you the messages
crazy.
And everything. Yeah. I think with my logical mind, I don't lead with lust.
Yeah.
I don't lead with desire. I think very logical, black and white. And if it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna say that again. If it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
$300 date, that doesn't make any sense for me. Charges to the game. It comes with being a player.
Yeah,
it comes with being a boss. It comes with being able to put on these suits and turn on these cameras and talk that talk. But it just come with the game. But spinning back to our last topic before we close for the podcast, man, we had such a great episode.
Yeah, we was flowing, man.
No, we was flowing. We was in sync. So, let's say you're a young guy. You love your friends. You love your friend group. They're not really taking you anywhere. Most of y'all just sit around. Y'all run your mouth. Y'all babble about empty nothings. Y'all talk about a whole bunch of nothing. But you want to be rich at the same time. Do you cut these people off forever? Or do you categorize these people as my weekend friends, my weekend homies, and then you focus on the main people throughout the business week?
Quick and speedy answer off the top of my head, which is the truth. First, try and build yourself first, which they already did. So once you got yourself figured out, right, then after that, you try to see if your friends can join you. Listen, I'm going on this path. This is what I want to do. Come join me, please. If they don't want to, then it's a rubber band. You can't let them pull you from loosening and get into the ether of success, right? So then after that, then it's a conversation. Hey, listen, man, either you categorize them, you talk to them, hey, listen, if this goes a certain way, I can't do that. Or it's like, hey, just know that they're the friends for the park, they're the friends for the whatever the case may be. But eventually, you have to leave. When rappers make it out of the hood, oh, you change. Yeah, they change their mindset.
Do you think I work this hard to stay the same?
Yeah. It's you have to change and evolve. My 22-year-old self is not going to be the same when I'm 25.
No.
Or 23.
I'm not the same person as I was when I was 19.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I really had to boss up and learn a lot,
It's not even funny. Life requires so much critical thinking. My professor gave me a compliment the other day. He said, you're a very critical and analytical thinker. I look into the fine print and the details of things.
OD.
When people bring ideas to me, when people bring stuff to my attention, I don't just listen to it. I think about, the fine print, the things that no one talks about. Oh, move to a new city. Okay, what about setting up the apartment? What about making sure you have a job?
Do you need a bed frame in the apartment? Does it come with beds?
Furniture is expensive. Like when I got this apartment,
yeah,
my furniture bill was insane.
Yeah.
My furniture bill was no joke.
No,
it got to a point where my bank was like, hey, like, is this actually you making all this shit? No. Like, guys, like, behind Kresstoph, on this third angle, behind Kresstoph, I had to get the matching white chairs. Guess how much each chair costs a piece? I got 4 of them that all look alike.
A lot.
I got this chair right here. I'm keeping these chairs forever. No matter where I go, I'll make sure I got these chairs. These chairs are going to be the Kell Network staple. You know what I mean? We got the table with the diamond ball. Come on, man.
Yeah.
There's levels to this. We got the big homie Pop in the back. You heard me?
Yo, shout out and
Shout
RIP
out
Pop.
man.
But now, I want to touch lastly, just on that part a little bit there. When it comes to friends and who you are and what you do, it's obviously you want to go and make with the people you grew up with. But at the same time, think of life as a rubber band. If I have a rubber band, I can only stretch so much. Either something has to voluntarily let themselves go, boom, so you can really go, or...
And some people, they don't want to let go of their demons.
That might be another
you
hour,
might try to put a homie in position, but he might struggle with alcoholism. He might struggle with substance abuse. And now he ruins and he messes up the position that you tried to put him into. I had to say that.
He may resent you for that too.
Yeah. And it's like, we're in a generation filled with jealousy.
Snap.
How can you have jealousy in your heart if we all got the same 24 hours?
That's what
I got 24, you got 24. Kresstoph got a Bugatti. I'm going to hate Kresstoph because he got a Bugatti and I don't.
Yeah, no.
Kresstoph got 2 McLarens. I'm going to hate him because he got 24 hours and he got 2 McLarens, a Rolls Royce, a Bugatti, and I don't. I'm supposed to hate on the homie?
So fast, man. I'm like, yo, bro.
A lot of y'all need to go to church, get that hate about your heart. You feel me? How in the world you expect God to bless you if you got all this hate, you got all these demons,
but you know what it is?
You got all this negative energy in your heart?
Bro, it's literally hate is self-projection.
Hate is, admiration. It's love.
That too.
Yeah.
A rich person is not going to talk about a poor person. Yeah. At least not for long.
Billionaires don't care about petty little things like that. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Nor have I ever seen a billionaire care about race. A black billionaire, white billionaire,
have
they're
you
talking
seen a billionaire
money.
cry? I've never seen a billionaire cry.
I've personally never seen it.
I've never seen Jeff Bezos cry over a chick. I've never seen Jeff Bezos cry over a bad move. As a matter of fact, Jeff Bezos got divorced. After he got divorced, he was still the richest man in the world. And guess what?
That's a flex.
He doubled or tripled his cash after the divorce. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine having like $200 billion, getting divorced, now you're down to $100 billion, and then during the pandemic, you triple your cash, and now you have $400 billion, and you are the richest man?
Yeah.
Richest man?
Yeah.
You and Elon going at it. This hour, Elon might be number 1. 2 hours from now, you number 1. Y'all just going at it.
Yeah. But instead, we're consuming instead of analyzing. How did they get there? What did they do?
Analyzing. One thing I try to do is, in every single position, I always analyze, why am I here? Why am I spending my money? If I walk into the mall and I walk into a particular store, what about this store attracted me? Is it the fragrance? Is it the, warm and friendly staff? Is it how everything is portrayed? Is it the price? What about this place, attracted me to the place? And I try to use that for my own life.
Yeah.
And I've done that very, very well with the Kell Network. There's certain stores I love to shop at. There's certain stores that I love to walk into.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, wait a minute, I love to walk into this store. I love to shop here. I love to shop there. What about this place? What about Dolce & Gabbana? What about Christian Dior that, has me dialed in? It's the quality. It's the presentation. I say, you know what? Quality presentation. Number one, quality is expensive. Quality is expensive. The quality of the presentation. I said, you know what? Let me bring that to my podcast because I'm selling myself on here. I'm competing with big dogs. I'm not competing with people, at the low level. I'm competing with Shannon Sharp. I'm competing with DJ Academic. I'm competing with the big dogs. So I said to myself, yo, I need the same cameras. I need the same angles. I need the same everything that these guys use. I need the same production lights that DJ Academics, Shannon Sharp, all these big guys use.
It's true. Because the reason why you did that is because you know that's where you want to be.
Exactly.
That's
I want
where
to be
you want
successful.
to be.
I want to take this journalism to a whole nother level. I want to take this motivation. I want to take this podcast. I want to take this EdgeFlow digital marketing agency to a whole new level. I got visions and dreams that people don't even understand. That's why Kresstoph is one of my right-hand men, because there's times where we spend hours on the phone, passionate, talking about business, talking about money.
We have a whole
about
podcast on the phone, bro.
Exactly. We've done that. We spent hours on the phone pouring
Yeah.
into each other. Yo, bro, I got this move. Yo, bro, I got some good news. Kresstoph gave me some great news earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe one day he might share it with y'all, but we like to keep things on a hush-hush. But you have to surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah.
Either they're growing you or they're stunting your growth.
Yes.
Either they're going to grow you or they're going to stunt your growth. There's no in between. There's no in between. And it's like,
Yeah.
one last note before I
Yeah.
close. One last thing.
Please.
Life is about travel. Life is about travel. Not in the literal sense, but life is about travel. We transition and we travel throughout the years. We travel to different places. We make new friends. We think differently. We grow as people. Some of us, we don't grow. Some of us, we go down. Why are we asking permission to travel from people who don't even have a passport?
Yeah. I ain't gonna
Think
lie,
about how
that's it.
far you've, listen, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, that's
The
it.
analogy of traveling is insane. Kresstoph, last year on today,
Yeah.
we met each other on the elevator inside the business building.
Yep.
Think about how far you've traveled.
Yes. Literally.
Elevator. Kresstoph is working at McLaren. Kresstoph got his corporate job. Kresstoph is doing this, he's doing that. You've traveled so many places and you've been through so many spaces and different atmospheres, and now we're here at Kell Network. We've traveled.
Yes.
What do you look like asking somebody who doesn't even have a passport for permission to travel?
What could they really tell you?
What can they
value?
add?
Yeah.
What can they add to the situation?
Wow.
What can they add? You can either be the baggage or you can be the luggage. That goes with dating. That goes with homies. Either
Yeah.
you could be the baggage or you could be the luggage. There's a difference between baggage and luggage.
I don't have no baggage.
Baggage
around
is a dirty, beat up gym bag that you hate lugging it around. You got this old gym bag, this Puma gym bag that you don't want to lug around. Or you could be the luggage. You could be that Louis. You treat your luggage differently. If you had a
Yes.
Louis Vuitton luggage bag, you walk into that drawer, you sit in that drawer properly, you protect,
Yeah.
you looking at it. You could either be the baggage in somebody's life or you could be the luggage in somebody's life. Pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one.
I got nothing to say for that,
Pick
Kelly.
one.
I ain't gonna lie.
Pick one. Yeah.
I ain't having no baggage. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of all that baggage in your life. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into this amazing episode of the Kell Network. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. Kresstoph, do you have anything to say before we close?
At the end of the day, we're doing this to help you guys, right? We want everyone else to win. If we were selfish, we would never do this. And yeah, shout out to Kell Network. Shout out to EdgeFlow Digital. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. Give them your social media.
Yeah, so you can follow me at fym.kress. I hope you know how to spell that. fym.kress. And then you could check out my page at Dubsy Media. That's the business we got going on right now.
Yeah.
Very much AI integrated based, because attention is the new currency. And what's pushing attention? AI.
AI, 100%.
AI.
And you guys already know me, Kell Network. You can follow me on Instagram at Kell Network. You can follow my personal as well, KELLFLOREAL, Kell Floreal on Instagram. And you can also add me, Kell Network. Kress.
You know why? Because that Kell flow is real, bro.
I like that.
That flow is real. That's what I'm saying, bro.
I like that. I like that, my boy. But yeah, man, amazing game session, guys.
For sure.
Stay tuned. We got a whole lot of new episodes coming,
We're
man.
about
We
to
got
be
a lot coming. We're about to
cranking,
be
bro.
locked in. Summertime about to come. I'm about to graduate soon, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lot more time on my hands to crank out more episodes. I hope y'all really enjoy these 3 angles right here. You feel me? You want to say something into that angle right there before we dip out?
Believe in yourself. I'm going
Believe
to
in
be
yourself.
successful, influential,
100%.
and make money today.
100%, man. And this angle, this is my favorite angle. You feel me? I got that new Surai lens, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir.
overall, guys, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Kell Network. I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.